Good, happy Thursday morning. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast. Let's get started. First up, Recycle Percussion hides 1,000 somewhere in New Hampshire. The New Hampshire band Recycle Percussion is giving people a chance to find $1,000. Brady will likely serve suspension, UNH law professor says. Tom Brady is running out of options after having his Deflategate appeal rejected Wednesday morning in federal court, legal experts said. Large fire burns cold chicken coop in Jaffrey. Fire crews from multiple towns responded to a large fire in Jaffrey Wednesday evening. DHHS announced blood testing for New Hampshire residents impacted by PFC contamination. New Hampshire residents whose drinking water supplies has been contaminated with perfluorochemical chemicals may begin the process to get their blood tested starting Thursday, the New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services has announced. $181 million bill passed to fight drug epidemic. The U.S. Senate passed legislation to help fight drug epidemic in New Hampshire. Hassan, other governors vow to fight opioid epidemic. Governor Maggie Hassan signed a National Governors Association compact to help fight nation's heroin and opioid crisis. Dover man arrested for recording coworkers in bathroom. A man was arrested in Dover after police say he left a hidden camera designed in a digital clock on a toilet at a former employee. Multiple agencies investigating suspicious death of Chesterfield man. The Attorney General Office, State Police, and Chesterfield Chesterfield Police are investigating a suspicious death of a Chesterfield man. Give me 1 minute, guys. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. Vehicle burst into flames following accident on Interstate 93. Interstate 93 northbound is closed near exit 34A following an accident, according to state police. Several animals rescued from Manchester fire. Several animals were rescued and a woman was sent to a hospital Wednesday after a house fire in Manchester. Phillips Exeter criticized for handling of sexual assault case. Phillips Exeter Academy is facing criticism for how it handled an allegation of sexual assault on its campus. Chester residents show appreciation for police. Granite staters are showing their support for local police departments, bringing officers thank you cards and snacks. Impaired driver tried to drag firefighters down street, police say. A dairyman is accused of trying to drive away from a Manchester parking lot with 2 firefighters hanging out of his car. Inside the stunning face-off between Donald Trump and Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Let's take a listen to this video from ABC News.
The other major battle playing out involving Donald Trump and a justice on the Supreme Court. Trump calling on Ruth Bader Ginsburg to resign. Did she cross the line? You decide. Here's ABC's Jonathan Karl.
Sides are now being taken in the unlikely battle of the Titans. The 6'2" bombastic billionaire versus the 5'1" soft-spoken Supreme Court justice. And perhaps most surprisingly, it's the justice who started the fight. Ruth Bader Ginsburg telling CNN about Trump, he's a faker. He really has an ego. Not an offhand comment. She slammed Trump in 3 separate interviews. In another saying, I can't imagine what the country would be with Donald Trump as our president. Even joking she'd have to move to New Zealand. Trump took to Twitter saying Ginsburg has embarrassed all by making very dumb political statements about me. Her mind is shot. Resign. The White House tonight lining up with Ginsburg.
She didn't earn the nickname the notorious RBG for nothing.
David, Supreme Court justices rarely weigh in on anything even remotely political, so Ruth Bader Ginsburg is drawing some surprising criticism. Even the New York Times today in an editorial saying Mr. Trump is right about Justice Ginsburg, saying she needs to drop the political punditry and the name-calling. Extraordinary criticism, David.
John Karl across town at the Supreme Court tonight for us. John, thanks.
Okay, and there you have it on that report. U.S. working to confirm it killed top ISIS leader again. Let's take a listen to this video from CNN.
Because that's what the IBM Cloud is built for.
Hi, Zane. What we know at this hour is that the U.S. military and intelligence community is assessing the results of a March 4th airstrike that they conducted near the Syrian town of Shadadi, that is essentially between Raqqa and Mosul in Iraq. The man they were targeting was his name was Abu Omar al-Shishani, also known as Omar the Chechen, a top ISIS operative. He had served in the Georgian military. He came to Syria some years ago, moved up through the ISIS ranks. They were targeting him in Shadadi, now assessing the strike to see if in fact they did kill him. They don't know the answer just yet. It's pretty interesting if they thought that he was near Shadadi. That's a long way from Raqqa or Mosul, the 2 essential ISIS strongholds. Shadadi, a border crossing town essentially between Iraq and Syria, where there had been heavy fighting in recent days. Now, Omar the Chechen, very well placed within the ISIS hierarchy. There's in fact a $5 million reward on his head from the U.S. State Department. He is said to have been involved in some ISIS operations several months ago in getting large tracts of land under ISIS control, in holding foreign hostages and ISIS financial operations. So getting him would be a big get for the U.S. military. But still, they're assessing the results of this airstrike to make sure that he's the one they got.
Right, so they don't know for sure, Barbara. But by taking out a top-level commander like this, how much does this actually cripple the power structure within ISIS?
Well, look, in these terror organizations, what we routinely see, unfortunately, for years, is they kill one top leader and someone else moves up and steps into their place. Whether that will happen here remains to be seen. What often happens, the U.S. believes, as other people move up the ranks, they're less experienced, they're less knowledgeable, perhaps easier to get to. But what we do know is right now there is really a full effort on to try and develop the intelligence to go after the top leadership. If they can get to the people around Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS, they hope that gets them someday one step closer to getting Baghdadi himself. Zing?
Okay, and there you go on that report. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday. See you back here later on. Goodbye.